Roanoke has been a massive mystery that for many years has had people stumped. There are a lot of tales that have turned into legends as people have pondered what could have happened to the lost settlers. Theories range from starvation to alien abduction and even supernatural forces being responsible for the disappearance of the group of settlers who wanted to claim a small part of the New World for themselves. I want to look at these legends and ask if recent findings mean that the mystery is over. Do we now know what happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? Welcome to IF, videos on mystery, history and the strange. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. Let's begin with a little recap as to who and why there was a colony at Roanoke and what they were doing there. In the year 1587, a group of 114 settlers, consisting of men, women and children, made one of the first attempts to colonize the New World. Sailing from the British Isles to the small island of Roanoke, located in North Carolina's coast, they planned the colonization of the area to lay claim to their own part of the New World. In doing so, they became one of the nation's first great mysteries. The colony was headed by a man named John White. John White's granddaughter, Virginia Dare, became the first American born in this new land and would later play an important part in the ideas as to what had happened to the lost colony. This after rocks were found with details etched into their surface, but more on that later. Moving to this new land was hard. Supplies became scarce. Just 10 days after Virginia's birth, Simon Fernandez, a Portuguese sailor, was forced to make the arduous journey back to England to gather more supplies for the settlement. He was accompanied by John White, who was chosen to return with him and did so rather reluctantly. 3 years would pass until John White was able to return to Roanoke Island. When he did return on August 18th, 1590, the colony had completely vanished without a trace. Not a single person, living or dead, could be found. All personal belongings were left where they had last been used. The only clue left for the vanishing was a carving on a tree branch used as a fence post. It read Crow, or that was all he could decipher of the scratch marks in the wood. White made the assumption that these 3 letters were an unsuccessful try by someone attempting to scribe the word CROATOAN, the name of a nearby island and tribal people who called it home. John White then took a boat over to CROATOAN in search of the settlers and his own family, again finding no trace of the colonist or his kin. Jumping forward in time, in 2015, 2 teams of archaeologists went in search of traces of the lost Roanoke Island colonists. They found some late 16th century European artifacts which could have very possibly been possessions of the settlers. No indication as to what led to the vanishing could be gathered from these relics. Now, it has been suggested that the Roanoke colonists may have mixed with the local indigenous tribes. This intermarriage between the Croatoans and English settlers is the most popular explanation for the origins of the Lumbee people, but it is not an answer that is accepted by all. Other evidence has supported this idea, like the mysterious Dare stone I mentioned earlier. Could it be the last message from a lost daughter? The Dare stone was uncovered in the 20th century. It records that the number of settlers dwindled to 24 as a result of illness and war, with hostilities occurring between the settlers and the natives. This then culminating in only 7 settlers surviving and struggling to sustain themselves. One of the surviving group was the daughter of Captain John White, Eleanor White Dare. It is claimed that she made the stone as a message to her father should he ever return. Many say that the Dare stone is a hoax. Moreover, archaeological evidence has yet to confirm that the settlers slowly perished. No graves have been uncovered at or near the site. Other theories that have been suggested for the disappearance include cannibalism, with those that support this theory saying it explains the lack of human remains. Others think the settlers died at sea in a failed attempt to escape the island and return to Britain. Some more fantastical suggestions have been put forward, the word croatoing being a clue. The word CROATOAN, which only 3 letters were deciphered by White, was found carved into an old fence post, and its presence has become central to the mystery of Roanoke. The word CROATOAN is also connected with other mysterious happenings over the centuries, each one more puzzling than the last. Some claim it to be the name of a demon that tormented the desperate settlers, and in a strange twist of history, a man associated with all things spooky was also to be linked to it and the legend. Just before he passed away, Edgar Allan Poe vanished for a period of time. On his return, he was delirious. Reaching a stage of delirium before he died, he allegedly uttered CROATOAN, this being his final word. Poe's cause of death is unknown, with his medical records and death certificate being lost to history. CROATOAN has also appeared at other famous vanishings during the 19th and 20th centuries. One story tells of a stagecoach robber named Black Bart, who it is claimed carved the word into the wall of his cell before he was released from prison. He was never seen from again. It was also found in Amelia Earhart's journal after she vanished without a trace back in 1937. Horror writer Ambrose Pierce disappeared in Mexico in 1913 and had the word CROATOAN found carved into one of the bedposts. Again in 1921, the word was penned on the final page of a logbook for the ship Carol A. The vessel crashed on Cape Hatteras near Croatoan Island. The ship was found, but its entire crew were missing. Some say this is all down to the supernatural, with witchcraft claimed as the cause of the vanishings. 2 particular theories involve witchcraft. The first is that the Croatoans either executed the colonists as witches, or the colonists were the victims of witches who called the North Carolina woods home. The Croatoans firmly believed in witches and witchcraft. They defined witches as people who used black magic to commit evil and create bad luck for people in everyday life. The Croatoans and other local Native American tribes had many legends of witches in the North Carolina woods. They were said to use their black magic to hurt many people. Did the people of Roanoke fall victim to these witches, and that is why they were never heard from again? Native American spirits have also been accused of affecting the behavior of the colonists before they disappeared, and also in some stories being directly to blame for their disappearance. The Wendigo, a shape-shifting flesh-eating beast, is said to have taken the settlers. This also plays into the theory of cannibalization. Native Americans believe when people resort to eating human flesh, as in the case of cannibalism, their bodies are then taken over by a Wendigo. The Croatoan belief system also includes a spirit on the island that had the power to absorb humans into the landscape. If the spirit was offended or angered, it would turn people into trees, animals, stones, or any other part of the land. Another strange beast the Croatoans also believed in is a reptilian devil of the woods, an evil spirit that can possess people, making them violent, greedy, and paranoid. This then saw the settlers turning on one another as murder and mayhem spread. Another more modern belief is that the Roanoke Island colony were victims of a mass alien abduction. Even though they left clues that they were on their way to Croatoan Island, no sign of the colony was ever found there or anywhere else. Perhaps the entire settlement exists on some faraway planet, seeing out their days in an alien wildlife preserve with extraterrestrials watching and studying human civilization. Today we may have found the answer to all of these ideas, according to a new book. They were never lost, says Scott Dawson, who has extensively researched records of the event and uncovered a number of artifacts from where the colonists lived alongside the Native Americans during the 16th century. It was made up. The mystery is over, he said. Dawson is the author of a book that was published in June, which outlines his research into the disappearance, titled The Lost Colony and the Island, and covers many of the ideas he has voiced for years. A range of experts have conducted digs on small plots in Buxton and Frisco over the past 11 years. The group known as the CROATOAN Archaeological Society have found thousands of artifacts 4 to 6 feet below the surface that show a mix of English settlers and native Indian lives. They have unearthed parts of swords and guns, as well as Indian pottery and arrowheads. The excavated earth looks like layer cake as the centuries pass. In the spot, the size of 2 parking spaces, we can find 10,000 pieces, Dawson said. The evidence he has found shows that the colony left Roanoke Island with the friendly CROATOANs to settle on Hatteras Island. They seem to have lived peacefully and thrived, ate well, had mixed families, and endured for generations. More than a century later, explorer John Lawson found natives with blue eyes who recounted that they had had ancestors who could speak out of a book. These 2 cultures adapted English earrings into fishhooks and gun barrels into sharp-ended tubes to tap tar from trees. Dawson says when White found CROATOAN on the post, it was meant as a message to tell him that the settlers had left with their friends. One artifact could depict a record of this event. A lead tablet and lead pencil found at the dig could have belonged to White himself, Dawson said. White also was part of a 1585 group working as an artist who drew natives and wildlife. The British Museum has his originals. He likely used the newly discovered tablet or a similar one to draw the miniature pictures he is famous for. The uncovered tablet has an impression of an Englishman shooting a native in the back. The paper drawing has never been found. So do you think this puts an end to the mystery, or do you believe it's a way of explaining away an event which falls in the realm of the paranormal? Was the disappearance something similar to today's missing 411? Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.